I would like to call on stage Mr. Saquib Ahmed, Country Managing Director at SAP, to talk about Industry 4.0 and ERP. So can we please have a round of applause for Mr. Saquib Ahmed?
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu Alaikum. We are just getting the video ready and then I will start on that one. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the business of experience management. We are in the business of emotions. We are not here just to talk about technology. We are here to talk about how this whole system connects with us end to end to achieve the desires that we need as an individual, that our companies need from us, or this ecosystem needs from all of us. In today's world, nobody wants to connect with a solution or with a company that doesn't have a cause behind that one. We all want to have an impact to make the life of the people better. The topic is not about that how the ERP can change the impact on the lives of the people or how ERP can be much more practical to make the companies better. Today, the discussion is more about how we can achieve the different dimensions of human psyche to achieve the results that we are talking about. The video that we showed just showed that there are 27 ways that we all feel what can be the impact on the lives of the people around us. And that's what the main cause today is, that how we can connect people to achieve the results around that one. And that's the difference that it makes. When we talk about in an ERP system and when we talk about our change management, when we talk about how the industry and evolution and the digital transformation all can connect with each other, we talk about how we can make an impact on the certain emotion of a certain person that goes round around us. The word digital transformation, the IT transformation, they are just the headings behind on top. The main purpose is to talk about how we can manage the emotions of the people, how we can achieve the results on that we are talking about at this point of time. We are talking about industry. We are talking about change. We are talking about across every industry, there is a change that is happening on a very continuous basis. And is the pace of the change of this industry is something that we are controlling or not? Starting from the 1800 when we started, talking about overall how the mechanical engineering came into picture, from the 1900 when overall the system started talking about, from 1964 when the first robotic things started coming around, and today in 2000, then when we talk about how the change is happening and how the change is happening so fast, how the impact is happening to the system to make sure that how it can be connected end to end to that forum. That is the whole story that we need to connect back. We need to understand that how these changes are going to impact our day-to-day lives. When we talk about Industry 4.0, we are talking about digital transformation. We are talking about AI. We are talking about robotics. We are talking about RPS. We are talking about artificial intelligence. All these words that we talk about are very common to talk about. But how we relate to them into our day-to-day lives. In the first session, when I was hearing, they were talking about that there's a difference between expectation and reality. We were talking about the organizations are not ready to get the implementations because the people and the culture are avoiding them to make that implementations because they feel technology is not the game changer on that front. They also talked about that there has to be a relationship between the social and economical and the business sides of that front as well. They also highlighted the point over there that there has to be a trust and openness. When we talked about the Industry 4.0 and talking about the technology, these are just the parameters to implement them. I think one of the key things that we need to understand is that how we can get this change implemented within the complete ecosystem of our company on the thought process that is there on the customer side and how we can get it connected to the whole ecosystem. You guys must have listened to the Davos announcement by all the prime ministers and the presidents. Did they talk about today that we are going to make a digital transformation? They talked about today how they are going to decrease the carbon footprint by 2%. They talk about today that how they can going to make sure that how the oceans of cleanliness can be done in a much better way. They talked about how can they make the human life in a better way to make that better expectancy that is required out of them. Nobody talked about that this technology will come and how it will get implemented over there. That's the thought process that is getting different from the very start. That's the mindset that is coming from the top and trickling down to the organizations, to the humanity, to the industries, and overall to the ecosystems. There are no boundaries anymore. Let's not go around in the geographical boundaries that we talk about today. We are talking about the revolution. We are talking about the transformation. We are talking about the complete thought process of ecosystem, how we can improve the life of the people better. We are talking about how can you impact the life of the person as your customer, as your partner, or as the ecosystem that you live in. We need to shift our thought process and go back to the cause. No digital transformation will happen unless or until we don't relate it to the cause. When I started my career, I went to the big names and said, I want to work for this big multinational because that will take my career forward. Today you go to this Generation Z, they would not like to go to the brand name. They would like to go to the cause. They would like to relate to themselves to something big that can happen and change their transformation. They will want to connect to something that can make an impact on the lives of the people. And that difference can happen from a small entrepreneur to a small startup to a big company. The whole boundaries on dimensions of this business transformations are completely changing with every possible time. I was called in Barcelona, start of this year, January, where they talked about specifically that how this Generation Z by 2030 will be in the decision-making portion. They are going to lead the organizations and how their thinking pattern is different from us. That's what we talk about in the revolution that we talk about. That's something that we talk about how we are going to impact and make ourselves change. The generation that I belong to is fast depleting in the organizations. Let's talk about, apart from the public sector, just think over how many 50-plus age people are there in your organizations. Just think over on this one. And you will see the percentage that it is decreasing very fast because the change is happening very fast. Today, all of you in the middle of your careers, you are not competing with your age mates. You are competing with a 10-year and 15 years younger guy who's coming very fast, which is 3 times less of your cost and which is much more adaptable to change. Today, when we talk about this Industry 4.0 and we talk about this change, we need to connect ourselves, again, I will say, to the cause that you are trying to achieve. If your cause is to make an IFRS 16 or 17 in the system, that's a digital and IT word to talk about. You need to relate about that how you can make and help Pakistan in the FATF to make sure that the overall transactional data is known to everybody and we are much more transparent to the whole world so that sanctions should not happen to us. That's the direction, that's the thought process, that's the connection that we need to carry on that front. Today we hear I see automobile industry people over here as well, and they are passing through a certain crisis. On the sales are dipping down on a very good front. We need to sit down and talk about how we can transform that business in the circumstances of Pakistan environment. The trends in the world do guide us. But this Pakistan environment has a different circumstances, different challenges of both financial and also overall manufacturing industry that we talk about. We need to start talking about how we can make such changes on that front. Let's a little bit understand the dynamics of today's customer, today's partner, and today's overall in-between organization has completely changed. You know, the expectations from that person in the middle is absolutely different. He needs to understand how the digital IT transformation is coming up. He needs to understand his board who's asking for all these analysis on the dashboards at that very point of time. He needs to understand how the new technologies are going to take away the complete business models that we are talking about and the business disruption that is happening. We all give the example of Airbnbs and the Nokia headsets wiped away from the system. We talk about Kareems and Uber examples out over there. You today don't know that which wind of technology will blow and your business will be swept away. You are not only competing with your industry, you are competing from the disruptions that are coming from all over the world with the general entrepreneurs and that are taking your business in a totally different dimensions. Forget about the times where you used to go to the shops. You make phone calls, you have mobiles, you have WhatsApp. All the dimensions of doing business has completely changed and it is changing very fast. In every forum that you go today, you hear that change is happening and change is happening very fast. But just think over for the moment, for the last 15 years, how this change has transformed you as an individual. I usually give an example. My brother got a mobile in 2001 and my mother thinking that this is not the device to be at home because it is unethical to have it to a young boy. And 2 years after, she was having it herself just to make sure that she gets connected to the world. This is the transformation of psychological mindset cultures that we are talking about. We need to understand that this digital transformation that we talk about, the guy in the middle in the slide is not a simple guy. He needs to have so many different stakeholders. All this window of stakeholders demand different things from him. And you need to be the person in the middle who provide that solutions to all these stakeholders. Previously, we used to have 10 guys to cover these different 10 dimensions. Today, we have that one guy. In the first session, we talked about there is a CIO, there is a CDO, there is a CFO, there is a CTO, and then on top of that, there is a business itself. I think very good point talked in the first session was we need to talk to the business. We need to understand the demand. We need to understand what problem and pain statement that they are talking about. That's where the difference comes in. Overall, intelligence is something that is required. We need to connect one intelligent enterprise where everybody connects. I always say in my different speech forums, it's not about which company you take. It's not about all these big companies that we talk about, Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, SAP, and many others. They all are doing great work for their solutions which are present over there for all the companies. We need to see the concept that fits best first your industry, your solutions, overall for this market, and your prices as well. We need to understand where you and which domain that you are putting your whole data in. Today, the issue is not the data. Today, the issue is what is the analysis coming out of the data and how you can use best use of it. You know what the board today needs, what the CEO today needs? They need the right set of information at the right time on their front to make the right decision. If you make that anything right a little bit late, the decision will be wrong. Today, they want the right data at the right time, and that's what all these organizations provide. That's what we are there to make sure that we make the right decisions. Trust me, guys, no individual or no executive makes a wrong decision. It's the data that is provided to him or her that makes that decision working. And we are the companies, we are the people, and we are the group of people who provide that data. Understand that how your set of information can impact a decision which is going to impact the life of the people across. That's the IT and digital IT transformation that we are talking about. We are running very fast. This industry is running very fast. And we don't have a choice to look back and see what we did was right or wrong because we have already done that steps. In every forum, you heard the word of learn, unlearn, and learn. Trust me, in previous 20 years back, when somebody has learned about a certain technology, he was an asset. And he was kept in the organization for that 25 years because he was the only one who knew it. Today, this is a negative thing. Because we want you to learn, then we want you to unlearn because the technology has gone, and we want you to learn again something new to be adaptable to the change that is happening today. That's the difference that has happened over here. That's the difference that we need to adopt. And our generation is trying to catch up the Generation Z. These guys are fast. Some people in the room, they think totally differently. They don't want to use the tools and want their mind to use something more analytics. They don't feel proud about if we do a mathematical calculation in our minds. They feel that we have lost the time instead that the machine can do, why we are not doing it on the machine and why we are not using our mind to something better. That's a thought process that is coming in. Absolutely. Just think about these figures overall that we say. 99% of the accuracy is coming in the video recognition by 2020. We are already on the 97% on that front. 60% of the jobs that we are talking about of humans will be going to the machines over there. 3.5 trillion is the overall annual rate that we are talking about in this enterprise business that is coming in. Everybody speak numbers today. Think about the impact. We all know today your mobile set is already just recognizing the button on the Apple iPhone of this handset is already gone over the period of only 5 years. That's how the technology impact is coming to our lives on day to day. There is a totally different discussion that what will happen to the people, what will happen to the jobs, how the offices will grow, how the overall combination of the people that we are working out will change. Just imagine, 20 years back, I used to stamp a card within the organization that this is my entry time and this is my leaving time. And that's how people used to judge me and my efficiency on that front. Look at today. You all guys work from home, from your mobile sets, your emails, communication, WhatsApp, everything working all at the same time, and nobody asks you where you are. Everybody wants to see the output that you have given to the ecosystem. I just quote another example. My son got just an admission in the Ivy League, and when I asked him what you are going to do next, he said, I'm going to get the right group of people. I'm an expert on this X thing, and I want to find that who is expert in this Y and Z so that I can make the best combination to make the right results. They don't want to be expert of everything. They want to know I am expert and want to collaborate with the right group of people and right set of technology to get the right results. That's how the things are working. What we need to find today is which is the best set of information that can make us work together to achieve the results. That's where the IT digital transformation of this industry that we are talking about. That's where this all thing is coming, and that's where all this thing is happening at this point front. Best run businesses are coming from the intelligent enterprise. And let me explain you a little bit on that front what people need today. They are talking about end-to-end process integration. They are talking about complete and sacramental interfaces. We are talking about standard interfaces. We are talking about simplicity. We are talking about AI. All this is required to be done from an ERP. And I round back this discussion when I talk is ending to the first video that you talk. All this that you see in these technical words in this slide is eventually ending up to hit some of the emotions, some of the psyches of the people that you are trying to connect to. You want to change their experience better. We are part of an experience economy. We are talking about how we can make our experiences better, our customers' experiences better, and our ecosystem's experiences better. The technology is coming after that. We need to understand where our bit come into this thing. And just before the end, my second last slide over here, we need to understand that there is an intelligently connected people, things, and businesses. This is the complete enterprise that is present at the center of everything. Today, we are working with public sector in Pakistan, and the whole discussion is about there's a lot of data available at all different places with all different organizations. They are not connecting to each other. This data has no use if there is not an intelligent enterprise. This intelligent enterprise is available all the big companies. We are not the only one corporate writer on this one. Every good big company has this intelligent enterprise. The point that is how we connect to that one big bus that we are talking about. We talk about this discussion of on-prem, cloud, what is the best thing? what is the best economical way that works for this competition, for this Pakistan environment. That's the best path that we need to take about. It's not the discussion about which is cost effective or not. It's more about which you can handle it the best possible way in the cost effective bracket that you are in. We need to be connected to that one internal enterprise, and that makes the difference towards us. As Steve Jobs says, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And guys, we all are innovation leaders in this room. We are doing this innovation in our companies. We are doing this innovation in Pakistan. We are doing this innovation across all partner ecosystem, across all the vendors and all the customers. Your customer is very intelligent today. Trust me, you feel you know better. Your customer knows better than you. Accept the reality. Accept the fact that we need to provide him what he needs, and that can only come with the innovation and technology that we all are providing you that at this point of time. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are part of an experience economy, and that's the difference as a Pakistani we need to make as well. We are trying, all these companies are trying to make Pakistan much more visible in an IT world. We have a very big competition from our neighbor, which are trying to take all these IT big projects out over there. And we, as the part of this industry, need to make sure that we contribute back to the Pakistan economy to its best. And that's the aim that we should carry a lot. Thank you very much.